Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So this is Talking Toys episode 3, and it is the female characters. What was going on? So yes, so many of you may know I'm in my 40s, was born up in the 80s, was born in stuff like He-Man, Transformers, can't even remember other stuff now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff like this. Now, these really, really bigger ones did have female characters. You had RC later in the line, you had April O'Neil, and stuff. These were popular lines. The smaller lines that you then got from the 80s to the 90s takes us into like Skeleton Warriors, Mummies Alive, Visionaries and stuff. All Visionaries was from the 80s, but this is the line where the demographic were these were boys' cartoons. Girls could watch them, but obviously this is the marketing. You had Barbie and She-Ra and stuff like that for the girls, and then He-Man, and that was for the boys, and that's how they did it. And it's very interesting that when they produced the toys, you would get like Skeleton Warriors. The first line basically had every character except Talon. The only female good guy that was in there. Obviously, we got Shriek because she was a kind of skeleton-esque character, which obviously I think for that would appeal to more boys, or that's how they saw it. When we have to like go to 90s, Captain Simian and the Space Monkeys, there was the female character there, produced in Europe, I think very few. Nefertiti from Mummies Alive, there is a character, very small releases, and it's I find it very interesting in this day and age that is the scope. Now, I can understand it from a company's side of things, because when you see now, when they produce Power Ranger toys, obviously you have 6 figures. Obviously, when each figure is like 10, 20 quid, that is a lot of money for each parent to save. So they will go for the main ones, the main figures, the main characters. And a lot of shows, unfortunately, are men. So the lesser Rangers, especially the female ones, are just left behind because girls don't really watch a lot of the boy-eccentric cartoons, which from their mindset is why they don't produce them. Obviously, when it's stuff like April O'Neil, really, really popular cartoon, or if they're like distorted versions, as I said, like Shriek from Skeleton Warriors, I'll put pictures up to show you. Even like, I thought Nefertiti, in fact, she's a cat, but like a Egyptian cat, I feel that would be a great character to incorporate into this. Even like Visionaries, we never got the women at all, and it seems that their choice, I believe, was kind of right, because obviously the girls didn't sell, unless it's Barbie or something like that. And even today age, it seems to be like when you're a completist, you want them as an adult, and that's why I would like these figures, but they're so expensive, so hard to find that that's really not a reality, unfortunately, unless I spend a lot of money. And as I say, because of what I've seen nowadays that the girls don't sell now, it'd really be interesting if they did actually release them. Would they have actually sold? I think the April, even though they produced April for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I don't think most editions, except the cave type, is a very rare alternate caveman type one with the dinosaur, is the only one. She's kind of worth a lot of money. The rest of them, they're a dime a dozen. And it goes, and I get that kind of for a reason. And part of me is like, but because this was a recurring theme for a lot of toys that they never produced them, did us as kids just accept it, And would this have made a difference, if we had all the toys in a complete wave as a kid? Would we have then would we be more sought after completing these, hard to find figures and stuff? And it is a very interesting concept, as I say, and my mind still, there's so many kind of thoughts and feelings on this that I kind of can't, lock it down to one thing, because as a kid I just played with whatever I wanted to, whatever I liked the look of. Obviously I had like some Ghostbusters Janine characters. I don't remember specifically ever playing with old characters. I think the ones I used to play with were like, they had molds for like plasticine stuff going on and gooey stuff. That's the ones I kind of gravitated towards a little bit. Or some Transformers, but I don't think I ever looked at Transformers when that's a boy, I'll play with that. That's a girl, I won't play with that. But as a marketing in the 80s, that's what it was. It's boys for boys and girls for girls. Obviously, now it's a lot different nowadays, but still with toys stuff, and I'm using only Power Rangers as a thing, you know, it is maybe with like G.I. Joe, we get the female characters. I don't know how with the classified range if more of the girls sell than the boys. I'm assuming not. I'm assuming it's the same way it is. Or it's just maybe the characters weren't that interesting unless they had a gimmick like a skeleton, and they believe that that's with toys because of obviously they're mutants, they're zombies, they're aliens, they've got special spacesuits. Unless it had something gimmick, they don't think kids would want a standard person. They need the gimmicks, and obviously the women, you know, tell them she flies, but obviously as a figure you wouldn't really see that. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts and feelings. If you were born up around the 80s and 90s, would you have bought or wanted girls' toys from the figure lines that you grew up with? If you do, please place them in the comments below. I look forward to kind of continuing on these conversations. But I've been Chris from Cypher Signal Toys, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.